All right, y'all, we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business today. We're going to see if, for these two Google searches, if BSS is present. We're back here in the GBC universe where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city, utilizing our North Star as always, FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that, check the pinned post, home video, wherever you're at. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. And if someone's bringing in, their boudoir photography business is rising, they're probably bringing in peeps from the left side, the highest intent, all the way to the right side, the lowest intent. Peeps all coming in, or at least becoming aware of their business. And if a boudoir photography business is following, more than likely, some chunk here along this intent spectrum is missing. We're missing out on those people. So over on the left, we got the highest intent people. That's what we're talking about here with these videos, talking about BSS. These are people, social search on social media, and Google search for like boudoir photographers in their city or boudoir photo shoots in their city. And highest intent people, closest to the money, highest conversion. And over on the right, we got the lowest intent peeps, and it's actually going to be the highest volume of people. And we're talking about those on our sister brand called Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. We're talking about BLCS, kind of a niche problem there. And currently, we're only working with boudoir photographers over there, running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. All right, on to BSS, boudoir search sameness. So this one, a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. So 0 slots on page 1, I mean, we're on page 2 or deeper. I mean, we're dead. At that point, we're dead because we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never make it to page 2. So people searching never even click to go to page 2. They are page 1 searches only, page 1 searchers only. As a result, this is who we got to get in front of. This is who we care about. We don't care about the 20%. They're going 10 pages deep. Don't care. We care about the 80%, the bulk of the market. So 0 slots, no bueno. 1 slot, also no bueno, because, there's 10 organic slots on page 1. If there's 9 other boudoir photographers, basically, 1 slot for each. And guess what? A buyer, everyone looks the same. Buyer's just going to be clicking down through. And, basically price shopping everyone, price comparing everyone, driving the price into the ground. So, we're not even seen as anything special. We got 1 slot on page 1. Buyers don't see much of a difference between us and the other peeps. So it's literally like, we got BSS, we got a problem. And that's because 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. Common, yes. Accepted, yes. Not normal, no. It is not normal to have so few number of page 1 links on Google. It's accepted, but it's not normal. This is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are 1, market saturation, and 2, the false belief of page 1 equality. Basically, everyone knows what market saturation is. Seems like every week someone's getting a new iPhone, throwing out their Google My Business profile, throwing out their website saying they now do boudoir photo shoots, competing with us for page 1, ranking on page 1. And then, or someone getting a new camera and then they're posting in the mom Facebook groups that they now do boudoir photo shoots as well. So that's market saturation. Also, big market saturation during COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs, couldn't earn money, but still need to earn money. And guess what? Everyone's got a smartphone with a great camera on it. So very easy for tons of boudoir photographers to enter the market, which means an increase in supply, increase in sellers. For the same number of buyers, demand remains the same. And guess what? We are making it harder for every buyer or every seller to get buyers if there's more sellers than the same number of buyers. And the biggest thing, though, here's number 2, the false belief of page 1 equality. So this false belief, page 1 equality, is when people incorrectly believe that, every boudoir photographer gets either, 0 or 1 slots on page 1, and when they, basically when they, a new boudoir photographer comes in, maybe they're on page 1, originally they're on page 1, a new boudoir photographer gets ranked above, then they get kicked off to page 2, and they're thinking, oh, that's simply how it is, hopefully that person deletes their website. Maybe Google will put me back on page 1. So it's basically this acceptance that there's not really much that can be done. No, incorrect, false. I know this for a fact. Google will actually give as many page 1 slots to any boudoir photographer who wants to put in the work to acquire them without paying for Google ads. And I know that because I actually went from 0 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google to 9 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google in 10 days using this new methodology that I invented. So false belief page 1 inequality. The first thing is realize it's false, and we actually can take as many page 1 slots on Google as we want, which kind of like punches through kind of this brain box we were in. It allows us to see outside. Oh, and outside we do have one solution finally coming up in 2 pictures. But right now, We know that boudoir photographer BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. So yeah, if we got 0 slots on page 1, we're disappearing because approximately 80% of the marketplace that searches on Google ain't never finding us on page 2 or deeper. Also, for page 1 slot on Google Organic, we're basically looking the same as everyone else. Going to be price shopped with like 9 other boudoir photographers, driving margins down, and just really screwing everything up for us. So disappearing boudoir photographer, this one they have BSS, and that's because it's the canary in the coal mine. This is the first sign, kind of the first flag that eventually the boudoir photography business will be disappearing down the line as well. But luckily, we now have the solution. So we know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S-cubed methodology, and we know this because we invented it and we've already used it for ourselves. Now, S-cubed methodology, that's exactly what it said. It's exactly its name, social search saturation. We're going to saturate social search with the highest intent keywords, buyer keywords. So we pop up there. So buyer search there find us first. It's kind of like the backside, the small streams, the small rivers of the backside of the Andes Mountains in South America. And these all flow into the large Amazon River. The large Amazon River is Google page 1. So if we successfully social search saturate, then we'll be rewarded with as many slots on page 1 of Google as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And as a result, we actually it's actually the only solution I've seen for boudoir photographers that's able to stave off and actually allow boudoir photography business to continue to grow without, even in the face of market saturation, even in the face of massive market saturation. Now, the only other thing that could do this is brand, but that takes like 5 to 10 years to, assemble. We ain't got that time anymore. AI is coming to take people's jobs. We literally got to get maximum distribution, kind of a maximum digital land grab now, ASAP. And so, Fresky methodology outcompeted market saturation, allowing us to continue to grow even in the face of it. Let's say we're in Chicago, there's a million boudoir photographers. Everyone's got a website center boudoir photographer, all trying to rank page 1 on Google, and we are saying, okay, the only way for us to successfully compete is we got to crank S-cubed methodology to the max. That's exactly what we do. We saturate social search with the highest intent keywords, and we take like the first 300 slots across all social networks for, let's say for those highest intent keywords. Now, let's also say this now flows onto Google, the Amazon River, and we're taking up the first 300 organic slots, Google organic search for those keywords as well. And every page on Google is 10 organic slots. So we're basically working on, taking over 30 first 30 pages of Google. So essentially for anyone to find our competitors, they literally got to scroll 300 places on social search or Google search. They got to go to page 31 on Google search. And dude, if approximately 20% of peeps are going to a Google page 2, basically ain't no one going to Google page 31. And so whenever a buyer searches their high intent buyer keywords, then what happens is we show up everywhere, and basically kicked all of our competitors out of the building. So even though there's a million boudoir photographers in Chicago, whose business is growing? Ours, because we cranked S-cubed methodology to the max, took over all the search real estate, social search, Google search, for the first 300 slots. And like our business growing, everyone else disappeared. They're disappearing. They can't successfully compete with us. And so again, this is why I said this is the only, and this happens a lot faster than brand. That's why I said it's the only thing I've seen that can successfully outcompete market saturation and continue to grow boudoir photography business. That doesn't require ads, because ads, their momentum goes to zero once you stop spending. S-cubed methodology has a momentum to it. It's not infinity momentum, but it's way more momentum than zero momentum once you stop spending on it. Now, once you're with S-cubed methodology, we have page 1 visibility, a bonus, kind of an initial benefit. Getting more slots on Google. We're also kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1 of Google, effectively making them invisible. They're relegated to page 2 or deeper. And we already know approximately 80% of boudoir or of Google searches never even reach page 2. They're page 1 searchers only. So we're kicking them 4 to 5 buyers, ain't even gonna see them. So that's an initial benefit. In addition to us getting more slots, we're getting price shopped against way less people because 4 to 5 boudoir searchers ain't going to page 2 anyway. Approximately 4 out of 5. Now, page one visibility activates Boudoir search visibility for us, BSV. This is where we actually want to, this is where our GBC recommended, you know, we want to hit, GBC recommends a minimum of 3 out of 10 Google page one slots. So 3 out of 10. And as a result, we feel like that's where we can comfortably say, all right, well, most likely at least treading water here, maintaining, most likely not disappearing. And the highest probability is we're actually growing the business once we're getting 3 out of 10. And 3 out of 10, if everyone else is one slot, man, a Boudoir buyer seeing us with 3, they're gonna be like, why does Google keep recommending this person over and over and over again? They may only click us and not even click any of our competitors on that search. And then there's always a tiny, tiny, tiny chance someone will have 2 slots. So if we get to 3 out of 10 slots, we're good. It's basically like, you know, if we get 3 out of 10, we're basically dominating 99.9% of all cases. And a Boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible Boudoir photographer, a VBP. So it's our full universe here. A disappearing Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search sameness caused by market saturation and the false belief of page one equality, previously unknown false belief, page one equality. But finally, thankfully, we have a solution. Thank the universe. We've got SQ'd methodology now. We achieve page one visibility, and we become visible Boudoir photographers with Boudoir search visibility. So it's our micro universe here. Now we're going to check out my results using SQ'd methodology. So I wanted to rank for the keyword BLCS Boudoir. So I went and I used SQ'd methodology, social search saturation. And see, organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I did this in 10 days, went from 0 out of 10 slots Google page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots Google page 1. And this was purely using our S-cubed methodology. And so now we're going to check if this Boudoir photography business, you saw in my picture, I definitely don't have BSS, Boudoir search sameness. So we'll see if this Boudoir photography business has Boudoir search sameness for these 2 searches. We got local search, then we got kind of the larger city search. So first one, we got West Pasco, Washington. And let's see. So, all right, we got 1. Boom. We got 2. All right, so we do not have BSS. Nice. I wonder if Boudoir by Rebecca is the same one. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. You're in Pasco, Washington. So we got 3. All right, dude, we're hit perfect. This is exactly what I want to see. I want to see at least the GBC minimum. So we do not have BSS for this Google search. Now we'll check. Now we'll check kind of for the larger city area. So go down to the organic. So larger city area, Tri-Cities, Washington. So we got 1. Two, right there, the threads. 3, couples Boudoir, okay, that's fine. It's got Boudoir in it, so we got 3. Hey, this is actually perfect. So we do not have BSS, and actually for local and city, they've met the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10. So hey, dude, that's perfect. So we can confidently say they're probably not a disappearing Boudoir photographer. Well, they don't meet it categorically because they don't have BSS, but probably not disappearing. They're most likely treading water or growing. So I got the the 3 out of 10. So it's perfect. This is what we want to shoot for. And then for those that want to keep growing the momentum, take more page one search slots, as many as possible. So if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer, you realize now you got BSS, you do your local search, you do your city search. You now understand what the false belief of page one equality is, or a lot of people had never even thought about it before, kind of accepted as normal. So there wasn't really, again, a phrase or a word to describe it. But now people are like, oh yeah, that definitely doesn't make any sense to automatically assume page one equality is normal or kind of the default. So yeah, definitely a false belief. And you understand market saturation, how it's been, slowly, people getting new iPhones, new gear. But now you see AI. And you see AI actually putting people out of work, taking people's jobs. And so you see most likely there's going to be an additional increase in boudoir photographers caused by AI, people losing their jobs, having to generate income. So it's not people only get a new iPhone or only get a new camera now. There's going to be a mass, see AI, you believe there's going to be a massive influx of actually new people entering as boudoir photographers, more supply of boudoir photographers fighting for the same number of buyers. And you see that's coming. And you assume it's only ever going to keep increasing as AI takes more and more and more jobs. There's more and more boudoir photographers being forced to enter the market to earn income. And you're saying, okay, well, ads, you pay for ads, they work, they don't work, they're not permanent. You stop spending, they stop existing. Ads is only like, text ads, one slot, local service ad, one slot. If you can even get approved for local service ads. And there's no real staying momentum there. If you stop paying, it stops existing, you stop existing. And so your CNS methodology, you can see it can actually give momentum to having more links on page one, basically as many links as we want to put the work in to acquire. Has much more momentum than ads. And so you're seeing SQ methodology like, boom, this is what I want. I want to achieve page one visibility in preparation of all the kind of new boudoir photographers going to enter the market because AI is going to be taking tons of people's jobs. And you want to make sure you stay a visible boudoir photographer, even more visible, achieve boudoir search visibility, hit the GBC minimum, 3 out of 10 for local search and city search. And you also want the extra bonuses on the back end from using S-Cubed methodology, which is, we're basically creating thematic keyword pillars around our brand for social search to know and understand, Google search to know and understand, and for all the AIs to know and understand, which means every new thing we rank for, or new keyword or more of the same keyword that we rank more and more for, it's building this thematic keyword pillar around our name, around our brand, which increases the probability we get recommended for AI search. AI overview at the top of Google and AI search like ChatGPT search, searching best boudoir photographer in whatever, Fayetteville, Arkansas. ChatGPT search, Microsoft Copilot search, Google Gemini search, Claude search, Perplexity search. And we're literally seeing, so you're seeing that. And the final thing you're seeing is, man, if someone else hops onto this in your city first, kind of takes the first action, works with me on it, then, my plan right now is to only work with one person per city. So you'd have to recreate S-Cubed methodology, re-engineer our proprietary methodology. So you'd have to figure out how to do it right first. And then if we're already working with someone else, you'd have to kind of, if you equal our output, when you'd have to do it correctly, then you would kind of maintain a laggard place behind us while we're eating up those page one Google search, getting the thematic keyword pillars for our brand for AI search to be recommended, because more and more search going to AI. Dude, I haven't done a standard Google search in like maybe a year. I use the AI mode. I literally don't try to go look for anything, type on links to read anything. But basically, to build up that momentum, actually to pass us, you'd have to exceed our capacity all on your own. And so you're like, screw that. I'd rather be the first mover, prep myself for more boudoir photographers coming in because of AI taking people's jobs, start building up my momentum, back-end momentum AI search, kick my competitors out or potential future competitors out by dominating the highest intent keywords. Because you need to do this in order to become the number one boudoir photographer in your city. Then shoot me a DM when I open up for new patient intake. The hospital is not open right now. The hospital is closed. But when I do open up for new patient intake, shoot me a DM and we will see if you qualify for using S cubed methodology.